Hey everyone, welcome to B2B Freelance Writer. As you know, on this channel we teach you how to become a highly paid freelance writer in the B2B industry, so writing for B2B clients. And in this video I want to talk about the real reason why most freelancers will never make it. It might not be what you think. It's not a question of skill or network or, God forbid, having the right course or the right coach. It's none of that. The reason why most freelancers will never make it, it's because of inflexibility. Now, this is not going to be a video where I'll just tell you to be flexible and that's it. I want to explain to you why there's a tendency for freelancers to be inflexible in their approach. In so doing, in grasping the reason behind that inflexibility, you can then assess for yourself whether you're falling short in that area and course correct, hopefully. So first of all, you've got to ask yourself, how did you get into freelancing? If you're like most people, you didn't know about freelancing, about copywriting or content writing, and when searching for ways to earn online, make money online, or quit your job, you stumbled across the idea of freelancing. If you come from that background, then you've searched on YouTube, you've seen multiple gurus talk about freelancing, and that's where it goes wrong. Because what the gurus do, what the business coaches do, it's they sell you the thing that takes away your biggest pain. And if you've looked at the previous video where I'm taking a walk in a very nice park, the biggest pain for freelancing, or rather the real cost, you could think about it as a cost, it's uncertainty. And gurus and business coaches, they sell you the solution to uncertainty in the form of a packaged formula. They tell you that if you follow this formula and pay them 3 to 4 to 5 grand or even more, then you will have taken away that pain of uncertainty because you are guaranteed to succeed. And if you're guaranteed to succeed, this motivates you to get started and put in the hours and give it your best shot, because there is a proven formula after all. Their students have used the same formula, it has worked, and if it fails with you, it's because of your execution of the formula, but not because of the formula. This is what they'll have you believe, and this is why it's wrong. If you approach freelancing with the mindset that you've got to abide by a formula, by definition you become inflexible. Because let's say you've paid 3 or 4 grand for a business coach and they give you cold email templates, follow-up templates, they give you ways to build your website. So of course you will follow exactly what they say, and it may or may not work, especially if the cold emails get used by a lot of freelancers. They become quite mainstream, as I've talked about with the funny comedian cold emails, which worked for a while and then they stopped working because everyone was using them. It's the same thing. So you will use what they give you and it may or may not work, but if it doesn't work, by definition, because you've committed to buying that formula which solves your uncertainty, by definition you are not going to be flexible. That's where it's wrong. So rule number 1, the real cost is uncertainty, and there's no taking that away. No business coach can take that away. And if they're selling something as a packaged formula, as a guarantee, this is the sign that you should probably think twice before investing with them, because there's no such thing as a formula. To be clear, we share templates on this channel. We talk about different ways to follow up. I have an exact cold email template which you can use. But the thing is, what we're doing here, at least what I'm trying to do differently, it's not to teach you a formula, but to teach you the fundamentals which then raise the odds that you succeed. As we've talked about before, making it as a freelancer is a probabilistic process. There are elements that are random that are playing into your success. There are many other elements and they are all random. Given that it's a probabilistic process, you have to run through iterations. You run through one iteration, maybe you build a list of 100 prospects or 150 prospects. You run through an iteration, meaning that you cold email them, you try to make your online presence as solid as possible. You follow up with each one of them. You hit them up on different channels, on hybrid, whether it's LinkedIn or cold email or other channels if you can reach them out. You do all of that, and that's one iteration, and then there's feedback that comes. Based on the feedback, you decide whether to adjust something, and that includes the templated cold email that I've given you. It may or may not work for whatever reason. Of course, I've used it and it has worked. And again, when I'm teaching you how to write a cold email template, I'm not saying to copy exactly what I've written there, save for maybe a few lines like the call to action. If it's really punchy and it's really nice, you can just copy it right away. But I'm teaching you the fundamentals of what makes a cold email great. The personalized opening line based on the company, on something that it values, on their offer, how to transition into a targeted offer. All of these are building blocks or fundamentals which you can adjust based on the feedback that you get. So you're not copying the template that I'm giving you. You're learning what makes a great cold email, and hopefully you're writing your own. And if you're using the template, it's not working, or something else is not working, or the way you've written your LinkedIn profile isn't working, you've got to be open to adjust. It has to be normal for you that you can adjust after an iteration, not right away. You've got to let time do its thing. You've got to let business cycle do its thing. You run one iteration and then you adjust. That flexibility is taken away from you when you abide by gurus and business coaches, because they're selling you formulas and your mind gets stuck in this loop of having to abide by their formula because it gives you that sense of safety, that psychological safety. It takes away that uncertainty, at least superficially, because it never goes away. The uncertainty never goes away. It's only taken away at a superficial level, but then it comes back. And when it comes back, it causes a lot of discomfort, and this is when most freelancers just give up. What they should do when they're not getting the results that they expect, it's just feedback from one iteration. Assuming you've run an iteration properly, it's just feedback. That's the time to adjust the feedback, not to give up. So the real reason most won't make it is because they don't understand that it's a question of receiving the feedback, or rather running the iteration, getting the feedback, being flexible on their approach based on the feedback, and then running a second iteration. And you keep running these iterations and keep adjusting to feedback by being flexible in your approach, and you make it. At some point you make it. Then you've paved the way for yourself, and you can understand, all right, this is what works for me. This is what works from what I've learned from, let's say, B2B freelance writer, but this is what doesn't work as well. It's entirely possible. I'm sharing what has worked for me. I know for sure that the B2B industry has strong demand. That's a fact. You can test it for yourself, of course, but that's a fact. But more than that, I'm teaching you the fundamentals. And you can max out those fundamentals as much as possible. They will raise the odds that you succeed in each iteration. But what will really maximize the odds of your success in each iteration, besides raising the fundamentals, it's to take the feedback that you get in real time after an iteration, adjust your approach, and then go again. So strong fundamentals plus adjusting on the feedback that you get after every iteration, so being flexible in your approach, is what gets you result. And the thing with most freelancers is they'll sign up for a course, they will try to strengthen their fundamentals, they will build a good website, they will take care of their LinkedIn, they will even write decent cold emails based on the templates that they get. All of these things are good, but then they don't adjust on the feedback. Rather, they are discouraged from the feedback because it goes against what they were promised, that they just had to input their effort into a formula and the output would be success, which is not the case. You input into an iteration, you get feedback. Based on the feedback, you adjust. If you get lucky, the feedback yields 2-3 clients right away, then it's great. Then you just keep doing that. Or you might get lucky and then realize on the next iteration it doesn't work. Then you have to keep adjusting until you find a predictable way to get clients, which will work for your specific case. Hope this has made sense to you. Going a little bit over time here, but this is the real reason why most won't make it as a freelancer. And if you solve that in your head, that there is no such thing as taking away uncertainty, no one can sell you the magic pill to uncertainty. You won't buy into these overly simplified linear formulas that are designed to appease the mind. You'll understand the true probabilistic nature behind getting clients. Doesn't mean it's all about luck. It means you raise your odds of success by strengthening your fundamentals, but then adjust based on feedback as you keep going. Do these two things. Keep running your iterations. In other words, keep bringing in the volume, keep stepping onto the board game and rolling the die. It will work. It is at that point it's guaranteed to work, and paradoxically that's the formula. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Hit subscribe for daily content, and cheers everyone.